Welcome back to Chow Time Pods. Your host, Red. Again, videos today for the Modern King. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. I really appreciate it. Let's get that Chow Time.
Facilitator.
I personally feel like she's
interviewed your children. So your children are 16, 14, 13. This is not like a 6-year-old. So much more weight to be given on the thoughts and input of the children. I can guarantee you that, Ms. Sewell. Since we're last in court, Ms. Pratt has conducted a custody parenting time investigation, which included an interview of all three of your children. Ms. Pratt has made a recommendation. Have both of you received a copy of Ms. Pratt's recommendation?
Yes,
I
Your
have.
Honor.
Okay. The recommendation is that the front of the court recommendation, Mr. Pratt, dated August 13th, 2024, be adopted. Specifically, mother's parenting time shall be every other weekend, Friday at 4:30 to Monday to school during the school year, during the summers, week on, week off, with the exchange that Sundays at 6 o'clock. The mother's parenting time with lunch shall be reasonable and liberal. The outstanding parenting time complaints filed with the front of the court through July 8th be dismissed. Ms. Sewell, do you understand the recommendation?
I do understand it. I understand
Okay.
what's wrote. I don't understand how we got here.
Okay, so you disagree with the recommendation?
Absolutely.
How we got there is we have an independent, experienced front of the court facilitator.
I personally feel like
has
she's
interviewed your children. So your children are 16, 14, 13. This is not like a 6-year-old. So much more weight to be given on the thoughts and input of the children. I can guarantee you that, Ms. Sewell. So maybe you should ask yourself these questions, because obviously this is what the children want.
Damn. All three children want to live with the dad over you, Mom? And this is what I mean. I'm not saying all mothers are bad. There's great mothers out there. There's wonderful mothers out there. But there's a lot of bad mothers too that we never talk about, really, because it seems to be like a taboo subject that mothers can be bad, women can be bad mothers. Because there's like this, where when the children are old enough, they can make illogical decisions themselves, and a good chunk of them would choose their dad. Right? Why? Because they know their dad's probably a better parent. Their mom's probably a little abusive. Their mom's probably a little, up and down on emotions, because that's how a lot of moms can be.
Now I want you to brace yourself, because she is about to have a meltdown accusing not only her husband of disgusting things, but her kids too. Why
It
is
always
she
goes
willing
this
to
way.
lie to this extent about her own family? Because she's used to it working. However, it won't work here.
The children would always choose ice cream over broccoli, and that's what's happening right here. I serve my children broccoli. He chooses to serve them ice cream. Children will always choose ice cream over broccoli. There are serious concerns within this case that have not been addressed, and unfortunately, it's so sickening and disturbing, this case, that the outcome of this recommendation is me dropping out. I don't wish to continue this anymore. My children have been failing educationally for years, and he's the one in charge of getting them to school, taking them to school. He's been charged with truancy charges. My son has dropped out of school.
All right. I do gotta say, this man, it's just straight stone face killer right here, has not even made any other facial expression since this lady has been talking all this S going on. Well, just keep watching the man's face. It is like a class of 101 to learn of stoicism right here.
My children are depressed, suicidal, on medication, and all absence of their mother. But yes, continue the same path for them. Everybody agreed that something different needed to be done, and choosing the same sickening and despair life for them is enough for me to decide that continue on and do that.
This
My
dramatics.
son is now dropped out of school. There's no changing that. My daughter had a 1.3 grade average last year. There, I have went to court every single year fighting to know knowledge about my kids, fighting to be present for my kids, fighting for my kids to attend birthday parties, fighting for my kids to attend funerals. I've had to go to court to know my kids' education.
I don't really think kids have to go to birthday parties. It's whatever. I mean, they might miss out on something, they might not.
To know their therapist. I've had to go to court to have you tell him that he had to keep them in school so he wouldn't take them out for acting classes. I've had to go to court for all these things and nothing has been done. So now my children, 13, 15, and 16 years old, are on medication, failing classes, depressed, suicidal, sexual activity, talking to men online, absolute disgust, all, and he won't do anything about it. I'm not allowed to be present. I'm pushed out of the way. So of course the kids want to choose whether they're not parented, not governed, and he's feeding them ice cream over broccoli. Absolutely, 100%. I agree with them. However, I don't choose to be a part of it anymore. I choose to not have the police called on me when I take away my son's Xbox. I choose to not have CPS called on me when I'm trying to get help for my daughter's suicide problems. I choose to not have false police reports called on me about stalking my ex. I'm choosing, if you guys don't choose better for my kids, I'm choosing to step aside. Flat out. I have 2 other children to parent and raise and worry about.
Wait, you have like 5 children in total, 3 with this man and 2 other little ones?
That's how I feel.
It's a Miss
This man,
Sewell,
hold on, there's another one thing. I started all these parenting time complaints, and up until this point, because he was allowing the kids to move freely between homes, it was working out fantastically great until he tried to strong arm me into paying him some money. Hold on one second. He had moved a man into the basement with my 12-year-old daughter, lied to me about it, lied to the courts about it, wouldn't let CPS in. And my daughter is expressing sexual habits and behaviors, and nobody.
I gotta say, these sound just like fake allegations. It just doesn't sound any type of normal father, any type of normal setting that's happening in the household or whatever. And I do agree kids can be dumb sometimes where they'll pick the candy over the broccoli, but kids aren't that dumb.
Will investigate it and nobody hears me. Would you be comfortable with your daughter expressing pornography and doing things online, knowing that there is a man living down in the basement and she's telling people that she's dating a 40-year-old man? Would you feel comfortable with that? This is who I'm leaving my children with.
First of all, Ms. Sewell, have you reviewed I think Mr. Axton filed in the court file, there's University of Michigan Psychiatric Emergency Department reports.
I have, and
okay.
Can I explain something to you?
Stated June 6th, whether your daughter was taken to the hospital. She claims that there's ongoing, this is her words.
Yes, can I explain something to you?
Her mother.
Yes, can I explain something to you? So
I just want to make sure that you don't want to make sure you saw these.
The husband is the man in the bottom left corner. If you've been looking at him, you can tell this guy is chilling while she willingly destroys herself in front of the judge. She claims the husband is the abusive one, yet all the evidence, including the testimony from her own kids, state she is the abusive one. She also keeps cutting off the judge, which isn't going to make her ridiculous story any more believable.
I did.
Judges hate getting cut off, for one, and hate when you talk out of line. They judges.
I did, absolutely, and it made me bawl. It's so sickening because here's the thing. Here's the thing, Your Honor. Mr. Atkinson, I was explaining my concerns of what I was finding on her phone and explaining what I have known my son to do and explaining what we had just came across. The referee wanted to stay that the kids were not allowed around each other and was concerned about incest relationships because what I was finding on Isabel's phone while she was in Mr. Atkinson's home. So I explained this to the court. The referee was like, whoa, something's going on. You know, the kids aren't allowed around each other. Mr. Atkinson went home and told Isa and London that I was accusing them of having an incestual relationship and blamed the entire thing on me. So she absolutely was so mad at me. And I think I provided text messages to the court where she was saying, my mom's so weird. She thinks I'm having sex with my brother and she thinks I'm having sex with my dad's roommate. But these are the things that I'm finding on her phone and I'm providing them to the court. I'm not having conversations with my daughter about what I'm thinking. I'm having conversations.
Wait, so you found stuff on her phone and then you just accused her of things and never spoke to her about it at all? I can see why your kids don't like you.
With Aaron Atkinson, trying to get to the bottom of it, and then he's going and telling he is showing her, even these classes, he is showing them the paperwork and putting it in their faces, absolutely causing problems. I've came to the courts every single year about things that I'm badmouth, I'm talked about. Of course the kids view me like this. This is 100% parental alienation, and the courts have enabled the abuse of me, the control of me, and I'm done. If you guys cannot see that, why would I be fighting for my kids to abuse them? All I want for them to do is do better in school. Hold him accountable to that court order. It's a court order for a reason. You're not allowed to badmouth me every chance you get. My kids don't need to grow up in a toxic environment like that. I love them so much.
There's no way she said that and didn't realize how dumb it sounded. If your husband has to keep your behavior a secret for your own kids to like you, that means you're the problem for behaving in that way.
After all this, there's no disciplining the kids. There's no wanting better for them. I am merely nothing more than a babysitter. So I choose to not.
I mean, she sounds like a controlling freak, like that wants to control her kids' lives in every way, shape, or form because she's looking at their phones and stuff. I'm not saying you shouldn't look at your kids' phones. Kids are idiots again, and they do bad things all the time because they're kids. Probably should be checking their phones.
Do it. I cannot live, and I cannot be exposed to the police knocking on my door again, to the CPS, to the false CPS call. I've been dealing with this for far too long, far too long. And this is exactly what he wanted. So congratulations, Aaron, you've won. Congratulations. This is absolutely what you've wanted. I hope you're happy with the results. To be honest with you, I feel so bad for my kids, but I feel so bad.
It's funny because she's like wanting to cry. She's making like that cry noise, but obviously there's no tears, right? Because she's not really that sad about it. She's just upset about it, not sad about it.
After my kids' future, that they have to live like this. 100%. The kid's therapist is his therapist. Can you imagine what my kids would say if my kids attended my therapist and all they listened to is negative lies that I said?
And the emotions left going up. For one moment, I'm just the victim. And then the next moment, I'm like, oh, he's the blah, 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 blah. But he did this to me. It's pretty comical.
About my ex, the paid actor, the one that literally gets paid to make people believe his story.
The father hasn't said a single thing this entire time.
The father hasn't even made a single face other than the current one he has on.
You've just been talking so much that the lack of oxygen is causing you to hallucinate. The father has been dealing with this lady for the last 17 years.
True.
And learned the best way to disprove her crazy stories is to let her talk freely without interruption.
Ms. Sewell, the children need their mother, so I hope you keep an open
and they
mind.
also need a happy mother and one mother that's not being constantly controlled and abused and enabled by the court system to continue the abuse. I cannot handle it anymore.
Enabled by the court system for her to be abused. What court system are we talking about? We're not talking about this one, are we? Because results say otherwise.
I have hit a peak. I've hit a moment. I cannot. The summer goes so perfect and so well, and it's so harmonious. And when the kids were moving freely from home to home, it was so good. It was so happy in that time. It was so good. But money is a root of all evil, so I'm sorry I didn't have the money at the time.
She says,
money's important. Like, if you don't have money to take care of your kids, yeah, you probably shouldn't have the kids there. If the father can, and if the kids are just going back and forth, as in like they're going home to dad to eat and then just going over to you to hang out, which is kind of weird.
it was happy, but happy for who? She also stated earlier in the case that everything was fine right up until the point where he asked for child support.
Up until this point, because he was allowing the kids to move freely between homes, it was working out fantastically great until he tried to strong arm me into paying him some money.
This suggests that him requesting child support is what caused all these problems that weren't there before to suddenly pop up.
All right, take a deep breath, Ms. Sewell. First of all, make sure you're listed. You should be involved in school activities, going to parent-teacher conferences. Make sure that you're listed as a contact at school. Absolutely, you're the parent.
I have had to go to
so
court
the
and fight
court's
for
going
every
to-
single thing of that, and I do. I attend everything that I am aware of, that I can. I attend everything. I do everything that I'm supposed to. I show up to therapy. I do everything that I'm supposed to do.
Can you not
Everything
cut off
and
the
more.
judge?
I adopted my life in 2020 as if he was standing.
I gotta say, this judge is way super patient or super biased with women because, like, if there's a man that interrupted him this many times, it'd be held in contempt already.
Right next to me, and you can ask any about that. I said I will live my life as if Aaron Atkinson is standing next to me because that's how it feels. Every move I make, I have to make sure that he's okay with it, how he can spin it, and how he can use it against me and use it against me in court. And that's how I have become this person that I am so proud of today. The fact that you are sitting here and saying my kids don't deserve to have their mother. Why is it okay for this man to have truancy charges? Why is it okay for him to not push school on the kids? Why is it okay for him to be living in a bed bug infested house, almost foreclosed on, and everyone's okay with it? Why are you
Ms. Sewell?
okay with it?
All right, Ms. Sewell, the court fully understands your position. Keep in tabs if in fact the children are missing school, bring it to the court's attention. The court will make changes.
I have. You have all the paperwork right now. You have all the paperwork right now. I have. That's a joke you telling me that. I brought all text messages, school paperwork. I have absolutely brought everything. The 37 absences. I brought that, Your Honor.
Waiting.
Mr. Atkinson, do you understand the recommendation this morning?
Yes, I do.
Do you have any objection to the court adopting the recommendation?
No, I do not.
Okay, the court's going to add a couple things to this recommendation, if you could, please, Ms. Brower. Number
Yes, Your Honor.
one is that all three children shall be involved in counseling, and they shall not be your counselor or therapist, Mr. Atkinson. Not someone that you are seeing. Just understand, all three children shall be enrolled in counseling. They've all three got problems. So all three should be enrolled in counseling, and they should not be your therapist or counselor. And finally, if the children miss school because of illness, you need to take them to the doctor that day. No unexcused absences. So if you take them home.
Schedules the appointment during
Ms. Sewell, please
school.
do not interrupt. Mr. Atkinson, if these children are sick, they don't go to school, you need to take them to a doctor that day. Understood?
Understood.
And Ms. Sewell, please keep tabs on the records. If in fact they're missing school, the court's we'll bring them back into court, and the court wants answers as to why they're not in school.
This is a joke.
All right.
I've been doing this for years, Your Honor. Every single year I provide the school record. Every single year. So you're telling me to do exactly what you told me last year, which was the thing that you exactly told me the year before, which is the exact thing that you told me the year before. You've told me this every single year. Every single year you've told me this. I've been bringing this to you every single year. Every single year, Your Honor.
Well, we've got 3 files here, and we've been a lot of activity, but bring them timely. Ms. Sewell,
I do, Your Honor.
apologize.
It has
but
30
again-
days to, you have 30 days to file the complaint. I do, Your Honor. I do. I file everything on time. I do bring it to you. I do. So you're telling me the exact same thing as you did a year ago. So what is it going to be? One more child is going to drop out? Are we going to wait till one more child gets to drop out?
Bring it to
Because
the
this
court's
could have
attention,
been
Ms. Sewell. I'm
prevented.
telling
This
you, I will
absolutely
not
could have
ignore
been
it. Bring it to the
prevented.
court's attention.
I don't know why she thinks arguing with the judge is a good idea. If the judge dismissed your claims, that means they didn't actually violate any court order. She also claims she's being treated unfairly, yet we all know how biased the court system is in women's favor.
Exactly.
So her entire argument is she's the victim as her own kids, husband, and judge are all lying about her.
I have,
I
this
will not
absolutely
ignore it.
could have been prevented.
I'm not going to talk over you, try to talk above you, Ms. Sewell. So court will adopt the recommendation. I will conclude this review. Do bring it to the court's attention, please. I will look at it. So please bring it to the court's attention, and the court's going to amend the recommendation with those
Your Honor, can I ask
provisions.
something else?
Sure, go ahead.
So we have a thing on our court order that we are not supposed to talk about each other on social media. However, I'm not being quiet about what's being done to me at court anymore. And since the court order has never been followed before, and there are no consequences. So if I start speaking out about what's being done in the care that Mr. Atkinson, and I have already interviewed with the podcast company that wants to hear my story about what's been happening with Friend of the Court, CPS, and how I've been treated and the injustice and the fact
I'm sure some feminist podcast would pick up your story and believe everything you say.
that you're still allowing this behavior and you're giving custody to him. Am I allowed to speak about it, or are you putting a no speak order on me? Am I allowed to tell my story, or is
Follow
this
court
allowed to
orders,
be
Ms.
aired?
Sewell. If you're not sure about following court orders, then you should consult an attorney, because yes, you violate court orders, people can be held in contempt. With that,
Okay, but
the
why
court will
is he
adopt this
allowed to be
recommendation.
held? Why is he allowed to disobey the court order, but he is not allowed to be held? He never gets held in contempt. So why is it that I only am allowed to be held in contempt, but he does not have to be held in contempt? You just dismissed about 20.
Both
20
parties are
my
subject to the contempt powers of this court and violate court orders. With that,
But you're
matter is
not, because
concluded.
you just dismissed all my court orders that he violated. So are you going to choose to violate me and not him once again? I'm just saying, I want to speak out. I want this podcast to be aired. I very much want my voice to be heard. I think that other people can benefit from hearing my story about the injustice that's been being caused to me. I want to speak out about my story, and I want to make sure that I'm
What is happening to a woman and the injustice in my story. Men are just struggling to freaking figure things out so they can get custody of their kids.
not being contempt of court again, because I'm the only one that gets held in contempt of court. So I'm asking you to lift that ban on me being able to speak and me being able to speak about my story.
Your request is denied.
Ouch. I gotta say, it's nice to see kind of justice in this court system, right? The father getting custody. Most likely the father is a better parent compared to the mother. Is he probably the best parent? Maybe not. I'm sure, but it does look like he's trying. He's like, if the kids are picking him over them, her, I mean, it kind of speaks for itself too. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. I really appreciate that.